Weakest conditions for the construction sector since 2013. Let's have a look. Good morning, everyone. I'm Florian Heise, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. I've got my morning stein of coffee, and I thought we'd have a look at some data that's just come out yesterday. Now, this is from the AI group. It's the performance of the construction index. This is used to gauge the state of the construction industry through a range of questionnaires to a variety of people across the spectrum of the industry. And it's the worst we have seen. We have seen since 2013. Right here in the title. PCI signals weakest construction performance since May 2013. Hang on, wait, I need to get the right thing to draw with on here. There we go. There we go. May 2013. Now, this data was released in 2019. But we've also had some other data that was released, guys. And I will just jump over here to one of my favorite websites, Trading Economics. And you can tell Google knows I need to get new glasses. Our digital overlords know everything. But you can see here, yesterday, we had the AI Group Construction Index released. That was December data. And here they have, what the previous month was, or previous period, reporting period was, what the forecasted consensus is. What do people expect it to be? What kind of is the consensus? And then you have the actual results. So usually what's most important is the difference between the forecast and this, and that's how the market responds. If the forecast is better, it adjusts, or worse, it can go either way. So we can see here that they were much worse than the forecast. The forecast was 41, and it was 38.9. And with these indexes, if it's below 50, it's generally getting worse. People are reporting it's worse than last month. It's always a process where you reflect on the previous month and you adjust it to that. So you're measuring against your own experiences or own business activity in the previous month. But we also had some other data that was released the same day. Now, that was the building permits month on month from November. And it was great. It jumped up 11.8%. So we've got these two conflicting, somewhat, pieces of information about the construction industry released on the same day. So you will start seeing reports of, Florian, what are you rambling on about? I just read in news.com or, Bumpkin Times that the construction industry has shot up 11.8% improvement in building permits. Now, here's the thing, and this is where when you start looking and learning a little bit more about all this economic modeling, economic data that people get, they're always playing catch up. They're always referring to data from the past and then using that to predict the future. It's quite funny, actually. It's sad in a way, but they're using data from the past to predict the future, manage the economy, make all these decisions. Yeah. Anyway, nonetheless, you got to remember, real world isn't like a computer game, like World of Warcraft or one of these online MMOs where they can fine-tune the economy like a machine, they can literally script it. In real life, even in the wonderfully central planned economies all our smelly hippie friends want to reinstate, they failed terribly, and the scale of them compared to the capitalist economy was just pathetic. But the point is, the data's out of date by the time we get it. So we've got two conflicting pieces of data. So let's have a look. We'll jump back here. And avoid me rambling about hippies and communists. And let's have a look at what these results are. And then we'll look at the ABS results from the Bureau of Statistics and compare it to the PCI results for the same period. We'll go back in time with the PCI and we'll see what happens. And then using the previous month's PCI, let's make a prediction of where we think building approvals will be for December. Okay, let's make our own economic prediction. I know it's bad, but we'll see. So, the Australian Industry Group Housing Association Australia Performance of Construction Index, Australian PCI, fell 1.1 points to 38.9 points seasonally adjusted in December. So this is in December. 1.1 points. It's decent. This indicates a sharper rate of decline for the construction industry in the final month of 2019. Results below 50 points indicate contraction, with lower numbers indicating a faster pace of contraction. That means more people are responding that things are getting worse. So say, just say for argument's sake, if 40 people out of the 100 in the survey, and it's more than that, I hope it is, responded in the negative, then the number would be 40. If 50 people, then it'd be 50 right in the middle. So half are growing, half are declining or neutral. So there you go. That's the kind of it. This was the lowest Australian PCI result since May 2013. Deteriorating indexes for activity, new orders and deliveries from suppliers all indicated a further softening in business conditions across the construction industry. Across the 4 sectors included in the Australian PCI, stable conditions were reported in house building for a second consecutive month, and we'll see that reflected in the ABS statistics. Elsewhere, however, continued falls in activity were evident in December across the apartments, commercial, and engineering sector. Well, there you go. Apartments, commercial, and engineering construction sector. So it looks like the mining boom, has slowed down. Reports from house building respondents to the Australian PCI were mixed. There were encouraging indications of improving demand for new home buyers in response to interest rate cuts earlier in 2019. However, other respondents reported that prospective buyers remained cautious due to concerns about Australia's uncertainty and slow domestic economy. Apartment builders noted further declines in investor and developer activity. Well, I can't say any of us are surprised with apartment builders. I think there's going to be lag in that industry in a while. They need to rebuild consumer confidence. We'll see what happens, guys. I would never buy an apartment. I don't. Maybe I would. Maybe I would. You just need to have conditions from the developers that, personal guarantee or different methodology for procurement. 2 certifies, 3 certifies. Maybe clerk at work. Get them back on there. So, let's have a look. Activity is down 4.4 points, seasonally adjusted. New orders down 0.6. Employment is up 3.4%. So that's good, but it's still declining. So what this says is, guys, it's telling us that overall it's declining, but it's declining at a slower rate of decline. So it's not declining as badly as it was. Well, these are declining worse. So maybe they made sharp cuts previously. House activity is slightly up. Look at that. 50.8. That's. I wouldn't really say that's gangbusters. Apartment activity is not declining as much, a tiny bit up, but still pretty bad. Engineering. Look at engineering, guys. You can see here in the chart, this is the mining engineering boom. This is around the time we were doing mining work. Look at that. Commercial activity down, but engineering. So any engineers watching, let us know, guys, what's it like out there. So what we'll do is we'll jump to the next one. I'll let you go through this in greater detail, but we'll just have a little look-see here. What do we have? 12-month average for the Australian PCI with 42.3 and with 38.9. So we're definitely below the average. We're below average. Below average, below average, below average, below average, above average in selling prices, and below average in average wages. So the only thing we're above is in selling price. House building, below. We're above in apartments, in the trend. Engineering down, all on the 12-month average. What does that tell you, guys? What does that tell you? So this is December data. Released in December, collected in November. No, sorry. Released in January, collected in December. Now we have the November figures from the ABS, because of course it's the government, so they've got to have their holidays, they've got to have their time off. I did a stint in the government. I did a short stint. Yeah, I think I lasted about a year and a half before I was part of the Architectural Practice Academy. Now this was a program under the Department of Public Works. We had our own little micro firm there. And I was, I think they take 6 people every year, and I was one of the few they took from QT. They took half from UQ, half from QT, the 2 universities that did architecture here in Queensland at the time. And it was an unusual environment. I couldn't understand why we were getting a whole day off work to sit in a meeting room and listen to all the perks that we were getting. Like, you get this for your wage, you get this, you can use this payroll activity, all this stuff. Because I'd only ever worked in the private sector. And then I realized this is all the union reps were coming and talking to us, and I couldn't believe it. I said, no, I'm walking. I'm going to go to work. This is ludicrous. I've got deadlines. The other ones would sit there all day. Yeah. So, and the goal of this program was you'd have 2 years. They train you up to be an architect, and you work on projects in the regions, all of this stuff. And I mean, it was good in a way. The department had their own internal training. We were pretty much left to our own devices. So I used this as an excuse to get as much experience as I can across a wealth of different things, learning how to write media releases, going, plugging my things to people, CEOs of councils to try and get business. I tried to drum up work. It's tough. So it was, an interesting experience. But I registered earlier than was required, and I got out there because, can you imagine 12 arrogant architects working together without having to worry about money? Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it, guys. So getting back to this. So I have some experience in the public sector, and I went off on a ramble for the story about, just the flex time, all these perks they had that don't exist in the private sector. Not for a small and medium enterprise. You just got to do it, and it's kind of mates relationship you sorted out there. Maybe I've just been damaged. So, here we go. The November key figures. And have a look at that. It's shot up, and I'll bring up the chart here. I brought it into the software. Nope, I didn't. I didn't update the software. Let's see if I can, on the fly, update it. No, here we go. I should be able to reload that. Okay. No. I'll bring it in here so you can see it, guys. But this is the thing that I want to share with you. I want you to understand that the data that they're putting to us, where is it? There we go. ABS building approvals. Oh, it's probably good you saw the previous one anyway. The data that they're making these decisions on and the stuff they're talking about, there we go. You can see it's trending up. The black line is the trend. It's slightly going up. Seasonally adjusted, it's shot up. Building approvals for private sector housing, dwelling unit approvals, definitely gone up. But, we're getting conflicting data put to us all the time. So the total dwelling units approved, it's 13,758. From October to November, remember, November, this is November data, the last stuff we looked at was December, is up 0.8%. So year on year, that's 11.8% down. Down. From last year, the construction sector is down in the same month, or the activity. Private sector houses down year on year, 12.7%. Private sector dwellings, excluding houses, down 10.8%. Seasonally adjusted, down 3.8%, down 9.9%. Private sector dwellings, excluding houses, 5.5%. So we can see here. Let's have a look. What do we want to see? Let's jump to the states. I like the state figures. We'll read through this. So New South Wales, trend estimate for total number of dwelling units approved in New South Wales rose 1.6% in November. Trend estimates for the number of private sector houses fell. So houses fell in New South Wales 3.4% in November. Victoria, total number of dwelling units approved in Victoria rose 0.7%. Private sector houses 0.2%. Queensland, dwelling units fell 0.4%. Number of private sector houses rose 1.1% in November. Trend estimates for the total number of units in South Australia rose 4.7%. Private sector houses rose 0.9%. Western Australia, units down 1.9%, and private sector houses rose 1.5%. So here we have the November figures. So, it's up, seasonally adjusted, and it's generally only looks like it's in the housing sector. Because if we go back here, we can see everything else is, total dwelling units are going down. So the trend estimate for total dwelling units rose 0.8%. Seasonally adjusted estimate for total dwelling units rose 11.8%. So it seems to be that the housing is pushing up. Housing. Now, seasonally adjusted estimate for private sector dwellings rose 20.6%. Okay, that's good. But we need to consider another thing. This is the November data. What was the PCI for November telling us? And we can go back in time and have a look. So this is the performance of construction index from November. We looked at the December one. This is the November one, and this relates to the data that they collected here. And what we'll do is, I'm just going to bear with me. I'll just jump back here, and I will use my snipping tool. I love the snipping tool. It's awesome, guys. To capture this, and we'll just bring him across when we have a look at these November figures, and we will compare. Can you see that? Is it coming up? Right. There we go. We got that. So the PCI here, and from December, is 38.9. Now the PCI over here is 40, and it went down. So our PCI has trended down overall from November to December. It's trended down. Now, if we have a look here, the activity, 36.5 at the moment. Let's have a look here. Activity was 40.9. New orders in November, when we had this uptick, was at 37.5. New orders now are at 36.9. Employment, 39.4. What do we have now? It's gone up, 42.8. So remember, all of these in red are declining. Housing building activity, and this is when we had the increase that they're talking about here, where it's gone up, building approvals up 11%, pretty much in the housing sector. 49.7. Have a look here, 50.8 now. So we're starting to see some of those approvals probably come through from November into this data. Okay, so we're starting to see some of that come through here. What else? Apartment activity was at 37. It's up 37.4. Still declining. That's ever so slightly. Engineering, 33.3. Yeah, and remember, it's now 29.5. Commercial, 43.7. 41.3. So what we've got here, what we can see, is this. What's interesting is the change. The only one that's really gone up and into ever so slightly into the positive is housing. And it was just slightly in the negative here. It's gone up. So this is what that 11.8% increase in approvals, that are building permits, that is being, talked about in the media. This is what it's leading to. So what do you think? What do you think we'll see next month? I mean, engineering ain't looking good. Apartment activity ain't looking good. Commercial ain't looking good. Down on last month. All down on last month. Employment's been up. So it looks like some people have gotten jobs to work in the housing project. So this will be interesting to see how building approvals will go. Will this uptick that we see here in housing, will it continue on through December? And will it offset the declines we're seeing in other parts of the sector? We'll have to wait and see. Let me know in the comments, guys, what you've experienced, what you'll think of, what you think is going to happen. You think this 11.8%, is this a sign of renewed consumer confidence? Are we seeing that here? Will it continue on into next year? Or will we start seeing the bushfires? Could that be what we're starting to see? Do you think that's reflected in the November figures? You might have some building approvals coming through there. But, yeah, I mean, maybe that'll come through. And that is going to add to some construction activity. But it's overall, the grand scheme of things, it's actually a net loss to the economy. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think. What do you think is going to happen with the building approvals next month based on this data? Do you think it's going to keep going? Do you think it'll slow down a little bit? Let me know in the comments below. But everyone, thank you for watching this episode of HeiseSays. If you're a fan of the channel, please like, share, and subscribe. If you want to help me produce more content, we have a Patreon where you can make a small monthly donation. You can also join this channel on YouTube. For a small monthly fee, you get access to emojis that I tried to make and badges that you can have on your name. We also have affiliate links for Independent Reserve for your crypto trading. We have Amazon and eBay affiliate links for your consumer purchases. These are great ways for you to support content creators without incurring any cost. I've noticed some people have been buying, doing their Christmas Blu-ray shopping on Amazon. Fantastic. They get a product, I get a small commission. Everyone's happy. If you've got other content creators you're fans of, tell them to do it. It's not that much work for them to do, guys, and every little bit adds up. Tell them not to be so proud. Then finally, we have merchandise that we sell on the HeiseSays website. Pocket squares handmade here by Rachel. I should probably wear a jacket and class myself up to show them up, but you can have a look there. Finally, we have PayPal where you can make direct donations. And thank you to everyone who helps support the channel and all of you who watch and share the content. Take care, guys. Have a great day, and I will talk to you all later. Bye for now.